One moment, Senator Coral Vex was denouncing military overspending. The next, his chest split open from the inside, silently, catastrophically. The four-armed Hexus senator crumpled without a sound, his ornate robes pooling around him as the chamber erupted in alien screams. A sealed cavity, thoracic rupture, a condition no species survived without immediate surgical preparation that took hours. From the medical bay, two blue-skinned surgeons sprinted in, surgical gauntlets already glowing with diagnostic energy.
By the stars, it's a thoracic seal rupture. We can't prep in time. Scanner says 0 survival. The chamber's collapsed. It's terminal.
The hologram showed a jagged rupture where the secondary lung had torn. No protocol existed for this.
We're too late, call it.
Senator Coral Vex is beyond our help. The chamber is sealed.
In the gallery, a human tourist in a Navy Earth jacket got to her feet. Her name was Sarah Vance, and she was done watching. Sarah reached the gallery rail in 3 quick strides, her fingers wrapping around the cold metal. Behind her, an alien delegate gasped. Without hesitation, she vaulted over the rail, dropping 10 feet to the Senate floor, with a thud that echoed through the hushed chamber.
What are you doing? This is a sterile field. You have no authority.
Sarah didn't slow. She ducked under his gauntleted arms and shoved him aside, her shoulder connecting with his thin torso.
I am a combat medic. Get out of my way.
She dropped to her knees beside the senator, her jacket bunching, her face inches from the torn thorax. From her jacket, she pulled out a simple blue ballpoint pen, a Bic, worn from use.
That's a writing implement. You'll kill him.
I've saved lives with less. Now step back.
Xylith took a step backward, his wide eyes fixed on the human and her ballpoint scalpel. Sarah pulled the pen cap off with her teeth, spitting it aside. The ink tube slid out with a soft click. She disassembled the pen in seconds, leaving only the clear plastic barrel, a hollow tube, ready.
That's not even sterile. You'll give him endoseptic shock before he bleeds out.
This is a cricothyrotomy. I've done it in the desert with a pocket knife. The pen is a luxury.
She pressed the barrel's angled tip against the soft tissue between 2 throat ridges, then sliced downward.
You are cutting into his primary phonation chamber. He'll never speak again.
Better mute than dead, doctor. Now shut up and let me work.
The clear barrel slid into the incision, a perfect fit. Teal blood smeared her fingers. She twisted it gently, seating the tube, then leaned back. The airway was open but still.
Airway's in. Now I just need to make him breathe.
Beneath the senator's ornate robes, a secondary pulmonary sac bulged purplish black. Fluid was filling it fast. Sarah spotted a wall-mounted maintenance kit near the dais. She yanked it open and grabbed 2 white zip ties. She ripped the senator's robes wider, exposing the swollen chamber, and looped the first zip tie around the base of the protrusion.
That's a structural fastener. You're going to crush what's left of him.
He's already bleeding into his own chest cavity. Crushing is the goal.
She cinched the zip tie until the swelling visibly shrank, then added a second one above it. The rhythm of her hands was ancient, practical. Through the scanner, the secondary chamber held. The internal flood slowed to a trickle. A murmur spread through the Senate gallery. On the public monitors, the senator's vitals had stopped their downward spiral, but the senator's chest remained still. The open airway was useless without pressure to force air in.
I need a positive pressure source. Something to blow into him.
Her fingers found the familiar shape of a McDonald's straw, salvaged from a mid-morning coffee run and forgotten in her jacket pocket.
That's a drinking tube. You'll contaminate the airway.
The airway's been open to the chamber's air for 2 minutes. Sterility is already gone.
She jammed the straw over the pen barrel's outer lip. It held firm. Sarah leaned forward, sealed her lips around the straw, and blew a slow, deliberate breath into the senator's lungs. For a long, terrifying second, nothing. Then the teal chest swelled, shallow but unmistakable. The first breath the senator had taken in 4 minutes. The scanner chirped. A jagged pulse line danced across the hologram, then steadied into a weak but regular rhythm, and every monitor on the dais flashed green.
One breath isn't survival, but it's a start.
He's breathing. The primary sac is inflating.
A single gasp rippled through the Senate gallery, then dead silence, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Before the echo of that first breath had faded, Surgeon Xylith was already kneeling with his scanner, recalibrating for a deeper read. The hologram lit with something that made his hands shake, a microscopic valvular fissure, sealed clean by the zip tie compression.
This is a conditional tear. It should have hemorrhaged, but the banding stopped it completely.
She couldn't have known. No scanner detected it.
Xylith turned his head slowly, his bulging eyes fixed on the human woman, as if she were a new species. In the gallery, a wave of shocked whispers broke out, the word impossible, bouncing between a dozen species.
She solved a pressure cascade we study for cycles using a structural fastener.
But at the edge of the dais, Senate guards were already advancing, their stunners set to pacify.
Great. Now I am either a miracle worker or a terrorist.
The chamber held its breath, and so did she as the guards closed in. The lead guard, a reptilian giant in security armor, stepped between Sarah and the surgeons. He raised a clawed hand, halting the others.
Stand up slowly. Human, you've breached Senate security. Who are you?
Sarah Vance, former U.S. Navy corpsman. I am here on a cultural exchange visa.
Talid gestured toward a side corridor. The security detail parted, and Sarah walked, her hands at her sides. They passed through the silent gallery. Delegates stared, some with fear, some with wonder. The antechamber was sterile. A metal table, 2 chairs, and a light that buzzed like trapped insects.
Sit down, human. I've never seen a tourist do what you just did.
It's called a cricothyrotomy, earth field medicine. I didn't plan on using it today.
You carried a drinking straw and zip ties. You are either the best prepared tourist in the galaxy or something else.
I am a combat medic. We're trained to see tools, not limits. You can check my record.
Before Talid could respond, the wall flickered, and a holographic screen blazed to life, the seal of the Galactic Surgical Board, spinning in gold.
I am Board Representative Quinn. We have reviewed the scanner logs. Is this the human who performed the emergency procedure? In 3 minutes and 40 seconds, you performed an open airway, external hemostatic compression, and manual positive pressure ventilation with common objects. Your compression also sealed a micro fissure that our best suites would have missed. You have demonstrated an instinct for pressure dynamics that we cannot explain. The board therefore offers you the rank of Master Surgeon, first to be bestowed without certification.
Master Surgeon. They want to make me a god for using a pen and a straw.
That title grants full surgical privileges in every system. No human has ever been offered it.
Accept, and your name will be taught in every medical academy. Your technique will save billions.
They don't understand. In Houston, I clock in, I clock out, and that's enough.
The silence stretched, the holographic badge still glowing in Quinn's hand, waiting.
In Houston, her patients knew her name. Mrs. Delgado's morning insulin. Old Joe's pressure check. That was medicine.
But the galaxy wanted to carve her name into a curriculum, and all she could picture was the Texas state seal on her license.
Practicing without a valid license is a felony, Master Surgeon or not. Representative Quinn, I am honored. But I can't accept.
You misunderstand. This title supersedes all local law. You would be licensed across every system.
On Earth, jurisdiction isn't waived by a foreign decree. I'd lose my nursing license at home.
The galaxy needs this technique. You'd be denying billions a chance at survival.
They don't get it. If I accept, I stop being Sarah Vance. I become a symbol, not a nurse. I'll document every step. But my answer is no. My license is from Texas, and that's where I practice.
Quinn's hologram flickered. In the antechamber, no one spoke.
You would refuse the highest medical honor in the known galaxy over a piece of plastic?
That piece of plastic is my nursing license. Without it, I can't practice medicine on Earth.
Then we will petition your Earth authorities. This technique must be taught.
Good luck. Texas takes conviction pretty seriously. They won't let a foreign board override them.
Quinn fell silent, the alien's large eyes squinting at something it could not compute.
The board will accept your refusal, but your procedure must be documented and disseminated, anonymously or not.
I'll write every step. Field medicine doesn't belong to me.
The glowing badge faded. A blank document template flickered onto the screen, awaiting her words. And so, in that sterile box, a human combat medic dictated the future of galactic medicine to a stunned bureaucracy. By the time she finished, the doctrine was already in draft, the Sarah Vance method, unattributed but indelible. Within hours, the board's emergency session concluded. The title appeared first, Field Medicine, the Human Doctrine. 600 pages of text, diagrams, and procedural annotation drawn from a single source. An unnamed human tourist.
Transmit this doctrine to every academy, every surgical fleet. The galaxy must learn from today.
The mandate hit millions of screens. A mandatory revision blinked onto every syllabus. The mandate was stark. All certified surgeons must study the principles of human battlefield improvisation. Nowhere in the document did her name appear. Only the symbol, an Earthwoman, and a Bic pen. In surgical theaters from the core to the rim, alien hands practiced with pens and zip ties for the first time. Senator Coral Vex, now stable in a medical coma, became the first official case study in the new canon. The human doctrine had ignited a revolution, and no one knew the architect's name. A woman in an Earth jacket was escorted to a civilian shuttle, unaware of the storm she had unleashed. Talid unlocked the door and grunted. Shuttle leaves in 20 minutes. He offered no thanks, no explanation. Sarah settled into the civilian transport, watching the Senate station fade to a distant point of light. Re-entry was smooth. The lights of Houston broke through the clouds like a promise. The ER's red sign glowed through a fine drizzle. The parking lot was exactly as she'd left it. She pushed through the sliding doors. The night charge nurse didn't even glance up from her screen. In the locker room, she stripped off her jacket and pulled on the familiar blue scrub top.
Same lockers, same industrial soap. As if nothing ever happened.
Through the window, the red emergency sign reflected off wet pavement. The city slept.
Still me. Still a nurse. The galaxy didn't change that.
She tied her hair back and stepped into the corridor, ready for the night and the miracles she chose. Halfway down the hall, Dr. Luis Martinez spotted her and broke into a tired smile, coffee cup in hand.
Vance, you are back early. How was the big cultural exchange? Find any alien coffee better than ours?
Uneventful. Really, Luis. Just a lot of speeches. Uneventful enough to rewrite galactic medical history anyway.
Speeches and bureaucracy. I am glad I stayed here. At least my patients aren't interplanetary.
He pressed a fresh cup into her hand. Traded a pen for a latte, he joked, not knowing.
Thanks, Doc. I needed this. He'll never know. And that's fine. That's exactly how I want it.
She watched him disappear around a corner, then took a sip. The coffee was terrible, and it was perfect. The ER yawned open before her, its rhythms unchanged. She walked into the noise, invisible, irreplaceable. Later that night, between a fractured wrist and a fever spike, Sarah paused at a nurse's station monitor. The screen showed a breaking galactic news feed. Human doctrine adopted as emergency surgery standard.
There it is. The silhouette of a woman holding a pen, no name attached.
The anchor's voiceover called it the greatest medical revolution in a century, and not a soul in the ER looked up.
I did that, and nobody here will ever know.
A tech brushed past her, handing off a chart, too busy to notice the news crawling across the screen.
Let it stay that way. I am not a hero, just a nurse with a pen.
She clicked the monitor to a patient's lab results and turned back toward the treatment bay.
The galaxy got its miracle. I got my shift. Fair trade.
The news continued, unheard, as Sarah Vance picked up a chart and walked on, a different kind of legend altogether. By 2 in the morning, the ER had cycled into its own brand of quiet, just the hum of monitors and the occasional sob from behind a curtain. A mother shifted her weight from foot to foot next to a boy, 10 years old, his arm wrapped in a bloody kitchen towel. Sarah pulled up a stool, opened a sterile kit, and knelt to his level. The motion was muscle memory.
Hey there. I am Sarah. What's your name? I'm gonna clean this up and slap a bandage on it, okay?
She cleaned the laceration with slow, steady swipes, the same hands that minutes, hours had pushed a pen into a senator's throat.
A kid's scraped arm. A senator's collapsed chest. Same job, different day.
She smoothed on a dinosaur print bandage. The boy sniffled and stared at the T-Rex with something like pride. The mother exhaled. "Thank you, nurse." He was terrified. "You made it easy."
That's the job, ma'am. He's a brave kid, no title, no ceremony. Just a dinosaur band-aid. And that's exactly how I want it.
By shift's end, Sarah changed back into her jeans and the navy earth jacket. The pen still clipped inside the pocket like a secret talisman. The automatic doors slid open onto a warm, quiet Houston night. The earlier drizzle had stopped, leaving the asphalt glossy under street lamps. She stood for a moment, breathing in the scent of wet concrete and the faint honeysuckle from the hospital garden.
A senator's chest, held together with zip ties. A kid's arm, wrapped in a dinosaur. Same hands.
She began the walk to her car, her footsteps the only sound in the empty lot, and let the weight of the day settle.
For a second, I closed my eyes and was back in the Senate chamber, the pen sliding through teal skin.
But the memory didn't shake her. It just sat there, clean and quiet, like an old friend. She drove home through streets washed clean, past darkened houses, and parked in her usual spot under the old oak.
No headlines, no honor, no doctrine. Just a street that needed me to be a nurse, not a legend.
Inside, she hung her jacket on the hook, the pen still in the pocket, and went to brew a cup of tea. The next morning, the break room television droned with a special report. Galactic Medical Board adopts human field technique.
You hear about that human medic? Used a pen to save a senator, then refused a master surgeon title. Wild.
Wild indeed. And here she was, making coffee.
The news segment showed a stylized Earthwoman with a pen, the same silhouette the galaxy now associated with victory.
What kind of person walks away from that? I'd take the badge and run.
Maybe they just wanted to go home, Luis.
Home to what? Houston. With that skill, they could write their own ticket.
Home to a kid with a scraped knee. That's enough.
The television moved on to a traffic report. The break room conversation drifted to other things, and Sarah was just a nurse again. No one looked twice at her jacket, or the pen clipped inside. In a quiet supply closet, surrounded by linens and sealed saline bags, Sarah paused. She reached into her jacket pocket. Her fingers closed around the Bic pen, the same barrel that had sliced through teal skin, the same clip she'd held with her teeth.
Still smudged with a hint of alien blood. Still just a piece of plastic.
She turned it over slowly, watching the light play off the worn lettering. To anyone else, it was worthless. To her, it was an oath.
I'll never get rid of this pen. Not because it's special, but because it reminds me what I am capable of.
With a quiet exhale, she clipped it back into her pocket, next to her nursing license card. She picked up her stethoscope from the counter, the cool metal settling around her neck like an old habit.
The galaxy is safer because of what I did. But this patient needs a bandage change, and that's miracle enough for now.
The supply closet door clicked shut behind her, and she walked toward the noise of the ER, the pen a secret weight against her ribs. She was just Sarah Vance again, a nurse on shift, ready for whatever came next. Weeks later, a cream-colored envelope arrived at her apartment, bearing the seal of the Galactic Surgical Board, and forwarded via the Terran Embassy. Inside was a single sheet of heavy paper, a formal thank you letter signed by Representative Quinn, and a printed copy of the doctrine's title page. The letter thanked her for her unprecedented contribution to galactic medical understanding and assured her that her anonymity would be preserved in perpetuity.
Preserved in perpetuity. That's a fancy way of saying, we'll keep your secret.
She traced her finger over the embossed title page. Field Medicine, the Human Doctrine. In the margin, someone had added by hand, based on the Sarah Vance method.
They remembered. Not the galaxy, but the board. That's enough.
She folded the letter carefully, along with the title page, and opened a drawer where she kept her nursing license and a few faded photos. The drawer closed with a soft click. The galaxy's greatest medical secret was now filed between a tax return and a snapshot of her first day at the Houston ER.
Some secrets are better off locked away. This one's just filed.
She picked up her jacket, the pen still in the pocket, and headed to the hospital for another shift. The Houston ER swallowed her whole, the familiar chaos of beeping monitors and hurried footsteps wrapping around her like a well-worn coat. She paused at the assignment board, scanning the names and rooms, her expression one of quiet readiness.
Another shift. Another chance to be exactly where I belong.
She picked up a chart and started her rounds, the pen in her pocket, a silent promise she'd never break. The day passed in a blur of bandages and blood pressure cuffs, the same small mercies she had always traded in. When her shift ended, she walked the quiet hallway toward the exit, the pen still clipped beside her nursing license. In the end, there was no statue, no parade, just a nurse, a pen, and the quiet certainty of a job well done.
I saved a senator. I could have been a legend, but this is my legend.
And that was enough. She never told a soul. She never needed to. The next morning, Sarah made coffee in her apartment. The pen lay on the counter beside her mug, a silent partner in the dawn.
The galaxy doesn't know my name. My patients don't need to.
She rinsed her mug, clipped the pen into her jacket, and locked the door behind her. The routine was the same, and that was the miracle. A few weeks later, Senator Coral Vex made a public address, his voice only slightly raspier, his gratitude directed toward an unnamed medic who saw a life and refused to look away.
He's still talking. Good. Means his throat healed.
She didn't need the thanks. The life was enough. That night, a heavy rain struck Houston. Sarah stood at the window, watching it wash the streets clean. The pen rested on the sill, a cheap plastic ghost of a day that had changed everything.
I still keep a spare pen in my locker, but this one stays with me.
She drew the blinds and went to bed. The rain continued, but inside, the quiet was warm. The next day, Houston shone under a bright sun, and Sarah walked the hospital corridors as she always did, her pen and license side by side in her jacket pocket.
Every shift since the Senate has felt the same. That's the point. No titles, no broadcasts, just a nurse and her patients.
She saw a teenager with a sprained wrist, a grandmother fighting fever, and the boy with the dinosaur bandage, now back for a follow-up.
Healing up nice. Keep it clean, and you'll have a scar story for your friends.
The boy grinned. His mother squeezed Sarah's hand, a wordless thanks that meant more than any medal.
Vance, you look like you could use a shuttle ride. Any more intergalactic adventures on the horizon?
Not a chance, Luis. Houston's got enough chaos to keep me busy forever.
Martinez laughed and handed her a fresh cup. She took it, the warmth spreading through her fingers. She walked away, the pen a familiar weight against her ribs, the ER noise closing around her like a favorite song. And that was all. A nurse, a pen, and a galaxy she left a little safer, without ever asking for a headline.